Okay guys, so this is one of the first baits that you guys might have seen on one of my videos, so it's kind of like a little update. Been baiting here a couple of weeks. Just gonna show you how they have established trails. Last year I snared here, and this is one of the trails that I had snared, but I snared obviously 40 yards deeper into the bush. This is the bait I brought in today. It's 1.5 barrels, 55-gallon drums of just butcher scraps. So that's what they've been getting here. So hopefully this shows up on the camera here. Right there. It's a real small, narrow trail, and that will be coyotes. Last year they had umpteen little trails all through here. Here's another one, the beginning of one. So it is kind of thick bush inside there. Works good to snare. Nice to hide power rams. You can see right there, they got a pretty heavy trail going. There are a few deer around, but this bush is too small to hold a bunch of deer. There are a lot bigger bushes around this local area that they live in kind of all year round. And before I started baiting, there was no trails here, so these are more than likely all going to be straight coyote trails. So this is kind of a new one. Last year they never made a trail through there. They came way around this way and made a trail. Oh, but I see the farmer has dumped rocks in here that weren't here last year. That's probably why they moved it over. Oh, they've got a little bit of a trail right here. So yeah, gonna keep baiting them, I guess, and a couple weeks here we'll be getting after them. Just kind of wanted to, I guess, give you a little bit of an update. I'm trying out a different camera, so if the quality is not there, I apologize, and I know damn well it's shaky, so for that I'm sorry. But this is always a good little run through here, and then they snake through the trees. Anyways, I'm going to grab some more bait and going to bait some more sets. Okay, thanks. Hey guys, so I am at another bait. Just dumped some. So I guess what I have never really talked about is kind of the area I'm in. This particular area is I guess it's a huge creek system. The bush narrows and widens obviously as the creek meanders through, but it goes for miles, and it is a pretty long, and it can be pretty thick and nasty in here. It seems pretty good for coyotes. Where I'm located in the part of the creek here, it's not too bad for deer. I snared it last year, never really had any trouble with deer in here. You'll get an odd one coming through, and the moose will come through. I don't know if it is because of my bait and they don't like the bait. I've read places that they tend not to come where the bait is, but you can see this was a good one last year that I had snared up, and you can see the animals, they are dragging pieces in. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Cross trail. We'll just kind of go for a little walk, I guess, through here. So last year, just up here, was kind of, I guess, an intersection for them. They would continue on that way, and it looks like they're using it again this year, and they go through here, and they branch off through lots of different trails through the bush and whatnot. So yeah, it's opens up in places, other places it gets pretty thick. Some of this fell down from last year. This was all kind of standing but leaning, and I snared quite a few coyotes right underneath that basically fallen rotten tree. So they've got a new trail kind of around it. Goes out through there, goes out in the opening. Where I have my bait, another thing I try to do is, traditionally we have northwest winds. So I'll set my bait on the northwest corner of the bush, or wherever I'm trying to pull the animals from. This way the scent will blow kind of in their direction, and you have a little bit better luck when they can smell it a lot more. I also hang skunk essence at some of my baits, just because it's pretty stinky stuff. Works for quite a while, holds the smell, and it does bring them in from a pretty good distance, or at least I think it does. So yeah, this is kind of one of the areas, I guess, that I thought I'd show you. So there are lots of trails in here. Like the deer have made trails, the coyotes have made trails. Some of these trails are probably older than I am, and all the animals are still using them. But usually when the snow flies and I start snaring, I don't see a whole bunch of activity of deer, which is pretty good. I'm happy not to catch them. But wherever you find deer, you will also find coyotes. So this kind of borders ag land to the south. I've got a hay field beside me, which is all good. Natural food lives in there, lots of mice, lots of moles, all that. Plus there's deer, mainly to the south, but they do hunt them. So some of the old baits. So when I shut this camera off, I'm going to throw all those bones all in one pile. The biggest thing for me, I guess for all trappers, is having a good relationship with the farmer. He is the key to all this for me. Without him, I can't snare. Keep a good relationship. Clean up your mess when you're done. In the spring, I'll come out. I'll clean up any bones that are left and whatnot and destroy them. Without the farmers, we wouldn't be able to do this. So keep a good rapport with them. Here in my local area, I haven't come across one that has not let me, I guess, set bait sites yet and snare coyotes. Most of them are accommodating for it. So, but yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna shut the camera off and I'm gonna go clean some of this up. Okay guys, I'm out of breath. So you can see, I cleaned her all up. Clean it up as I go, just because then it's less cleanup kind of at the end of the season. They're not scattered completely everywhere. Another thing I like doing is covering the bait up with the rib cages. Yes, the bird's still going to eat it, but it's harder for them, and I leave a few out kind of like that just to let them pick. I left one over there. So just to try and make sure that there's a good scent here. Coyotes can come in, feed a little bit. They won't be so spooky, and they'll just kind of keep coming. I'm lucky enough I got a permit with my snaring permit that I'm able to pick up roadkill. So anytime that I find roadkill, I'll also bring them out to here. I just have to log where I got them, what they were, let our local game wardens know. So, but once it starts getting cold, what I'll do is all the loose bait and all the loose scraps, I'm actually going to pour some water on them and freeze them overnight in smaller lick tubs. And then in theory, I'm going to throw them out as big blocks. Yes, the birds will pick at them, coyotes will pick at them, but it'll be harder for them to consume it in, say, 2 days versus it'll take them a week, maybe. So, but yeah. So, she's all picked up, all cleaned up. That's her. Okay, thanks. Okay, guys, we are at another bait. Baited, covered up with rib cages. So, with this bait, it is a new one established this year. The farmer actually asked me to come in here and try and snare some coyotes because he hears them every night. Says there's lots of them. He says there's 20 in here. But as we all know, 20 coyotes in reality is probably 3 or 4. So, and it doesn't seem to me like there is a ton of action right now. On some of my baits I ran last year that were new spots, they produced quite well and actually were some of my highest producing baits. So we do have a few trails here coming in and a main one here coming in that wasn't here when I started to bait this. So potentially this spot, they are just using these 3 main trails. Granted, they will skirt the edge of the bush and come in, and I will actually follow those trails to where they're coming out of the bush and snare them as well. Maybe because it's so thick, I'm not sure. I'm not too excited about this as of yet, but once we get some snow, we will, I guess, see how it's going to produce. One other thing that I never ever showed, that little yellow thing, that is a makeup wipe that I stole from the wife. And from the skunks that I trap in the fall, I keep all the essence and I soak them, the makeup wipes, I soak them with skunk essence and hang them in a tree, kind of as a long distance call, I guess. In my previous video, I had said how I talk about putting my bait on the northwest side of the bush simply because of the wind. Now, I don't always do that because, yes, the wind will bring the smell through the bush, bringing in the coyotes. But we get a ton of snow up here, so if you want to use that bait for any length of time, the snow is going to drift in there quite a bit. Excuse me. So, I do set them on, I guess, the southeast or the east sides of bushes as well. It just makes it for easier access if we get lots of snow. Well, we're going to move on to the next one. Hey guys, so add another bait here, just dumped it. I kind of wish I had the rib cages and stuff to stock on there just so that the birds don't crush this before the coyotes find it. But there has been lots of action in here. You can see them dragging the bones around. I've already walked up into the bush here a little ways. Found some trails. They're gonna run this dry creek bed. If you walk down, you can see where they're branching off and coming in the bush further out, which is pretty awesome. It'll allow me to snare them quite a ways from the bait. But you can see that they've been dragging bones, and they're dragging them up here, and they're kind of stopping and sitting and eating. It might be younger ones that are kind of scared of the territorial males, but you can see a little trail coming up here. They're stopping, chewing on them. They've got trails coming there. Another one there. I don't know if that one's not too defined, but... And then they got their little trails going through the bush. This is my second or third time baiting this. Might be my third time baiting this. So, it's looking good so far. We'll have to see. I won't set this one probably till, I'll wait till, I would say, the middle of November. I'm hoping to get snow by then. It was snowing this morning, but that kind of shut down pretty quick. So yeah, it's starting to get colder at nights. So hopefully the winter weather is coming and we're going to get a little bit of snow. But yeah. Okay, thanks.